All right. Hello and welcome to Fight for Blight. I believe this is session 9? Yes. My memory serves me well sometimes, but I always have my doubts. But as usual, let's go ahead and make our way around the table. Let's go ahead and start with Adachi, since we kind of know the story there a bit. And you can sum it up as much as you'd like there, bud.
Yeah, so we had single digit temperatures in Texas and a snowstorm. And then today it's 70. So my allergies are just like so bad and I completely lost my voice over the weekend. So I feel fine, I just sound awful. That's where I'm at. Adashi's gonna have a lot of smoke inhalation from the fight. So yeah. Otherwise I'm excited to play.
Crix, how was your week?
My week was good. It flew past. Nothing really exciting, but it was fast.
Wish I could say the same. The only thing that ever seems to go by fast is the weekend. Then back to work. Just Stalin, how was your week?
Oh, a mix of good and bad. My father and my uncle and his family, they all have corona now. And it's crazy it all happened when we went to visit my grandmother for her birthday. So essentially I dodged a bullet. But on the bright side, they're feeling okay, just a little bit less energy than usual. And they can't smell or taste anything. So sucks.
That does suck.
But they're on the road to recovery. So that happened, and then I went to a wedding, a very small wedding over the weekend. So that was about it.
Dang, so you're just trying to dodge all sorts of bullets then, huh, bud?
It doesn't sound like it. I like staying at home, but people always want to do things and get me involved.
True. May, how was your week?
It was good. I don't think anything eventful happened. We had a nice day at the park yesterday, but truly that's about it.
Cryptilli, anything to add?
Um, as of like 2 minutes ago, I just got an opponent for a fight in March, so that should be good.
Oh, it's time to get back on that diet track, huh?
All day, every day.
Oof. The only time I counted carbs is when you were telling me about how much you go through when you're doing like your weight cuts. And I was like, man, you can't eat anything.
That thing is
This is
crazy.
terrible.
I'm on week 2 of keto right now. I just started back.
Oh, you over the hump there.
Oh yeah, I'm in there. I'm used to it. I did it for 4 months, so it's easy to get back into for me.
Vieric, how was your week?
It was okay, I guess. Going through things, but it is what it is.
You got to go back to work, right?
Yeah, and I've been annoyed the whole time.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's okay. Only 3 weeks left at work, so
Nice, nice. Well, with that, how about I just open it up to the floor for a recap? There's a bit of RP towards the end of the session, but overall, I guess not too much to go over. But I'll open it up to the floor for whoever would like to take the lead on this.
That session, we killed some things.
and set some tents on fire.
Yeah, last session was mostly combat.
We broke into some chests.
Yeah, about that, I was about to say I'm completely hopeless when it comes to opening a chest.
Mr. Hack and Slash.
It was the first attempt though. Let's see. Birkin just Stalin found a chest with gold, 7 vials in it. Adachi discovered that one of the bandits we were fighting had this like magical quill, which was a dart. And then yeah, there's a bunch of treasure and a bunch of like wild potions.
We have to split that up some type of way.
Stole things, so that was cool.
Yes, you did.
I think as Virek's life flashed before his eyes, Adachi came in with a nat 20 and saved his life. So that was pretty cool. Just had to throw that in there.
I beat Cryptilli at chess again.
Oh, that was
Undefeated.
good. Adachi kind of made up with just on a little bit too. And an
Yeah.
awkward mid-watch conversation.
May and I tried to train our kitties, and she was more successful than I was.
Yeah, I mean, not bad. I mean, other than, like we pretty much all said, the combat and then finding the treasure, I feel like were the two major points in the plot for our last session. So we'll get into tonight's game with this. Before settling down and taking watch on March 28th, year 1101, each of you completed some miscellaneous tasks and talking to one another while waiting through the night and for morning to come. As stated, it was an uneventful night, and the party found themselves awakening the next morning on March 29th. As the sun begins to rise, and Adachi and Justalin, you are awakening, or going to awaken everybody. Both of you will feel that the air is growing quite cool. You can see that the flaps of the entrance are whipping back and forth with a bit of force, snapping from in and out as you see the snow start to flow with inside the animal-skinned tent.
I guess Adachi would look to Justalin and say, "Man, I guess I got too much smoke in my lungs last night." And then would say, "Do you think a blizzard is coming in, brother?"
Yeah, you sound a bit rough, and it sounds a bit rough outside as well. I wonder what's coming.
Perhaps Lord Virik would know. He's wisdom is infinite. And I guess Adachi would go inside and communicate to the group that it seems like there might be a storm coming in.
Things are looking bad. I hope it's not like last time. I don't like the thought of sitting around in a tent for days on end.
So the first one to be woken up is Virik, and then it looked like Justalin, you were going over towards Crix.
Yeah, I would wake up May next because I think Cryptilli is probably like the grumpiest person when you wake her up in the morning.
All right. So after Adachi and Justalin wake the rest of you, each of you just see the once fairly wounded guard now patched up a bit. The blood seems to have subsided from continuing on, the pressures that the tourniquets and other bandages applied to him seem to be working. Seems to have a bit more color in his face as well, and also a little of a smile. And each of you anticipate, thankful to be alive. You all feel that air. Seems that a storm might be setting in.
What dreadful timing.
I was hoping we could finish our business here and keep moving, but I'm not so sure anymore.
Right. It took us 2 full days and a night's travel to get out here from the stronghold. So I doubt we would be able to make it back in time.
Adashi would look to Lady May and say, Lady May, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we leave our other camping equipment and tents out in the forest? Perhaps we should go and retrieve those before the storm hits. I actually don't remember what we said we did.
Good point.
I don't know either.
I remember what you did.
I don't remember breaking down camp, so it's probably there.
Yeah, I think we because like you wouldn't infiltrate an enemy camp with like a tent on your back.
Exactly.
That definitely happened.
So yeah, we yeah.
I will just say, as a DM, I was kind of hoping you just left it. You spoiled brats. Get all this stuff and you just leave it behind.
Well, I was thinking we probably can't take this like tent we're staying in with us. I was like, what are we gonna take with us? Like, how are we gonna leave? And I was like, oh wait, I think we left all our stuff in the forest. The doctor will offer to go retrieve our stuff.
Yeah, I'll step out at this point and see how bad the storm looks.
So I'm
Go
gonna
ahead and
look
give
at
me a
Adachi.
nature check, Cryptilli. It looks bad now.
Yeah. It looks bad. I'm gonna stay here. But I think that's a wise idea. Some of you should go and retrieve the gear. I'll bet we have food.
Don't be so hasty. Give me 1 second, and May steps outside to see what it's like.
Okay, if
So-
anyone else would like to assist in this endeavor, go ahead and do it now.
Go and look at the sky.
Nature.
Yep.
Nice.
It does look pretty bad, but you would know that you have maybe an hour at most before it starts to get real bad. This isn't a blizzard. From the drop in the temperature and the wind whipping as much as it is, with the clouds rolling in from the ocean from the east, you would both know that this is going to be an ice storm.
Looks like we're staying here. At least here we have some walls to break the wind.
Yes, I agree. I think from where we left our camp yesterday and made it to this camp, it took us a few hours, and I don't think we have that with this storm.
It's not even worth risking getting caught in it for some tents. I mean, they're tents.
Now, is there plenty of food around on these campfires, or anything we can scavenge and bring into the big tent?
From what was gathered the day before, there was a bit of burnt boar that May had used for training purposes. and no one really had mentioned grabbing anything else, but there were, I believe, 15 rations gathered when making your way through the tents. The 5, the one being burnt down.
Gotcha.
Yep, I grabbed the crap ton of rations.
I have a quick question about this tent. Does it seem like it would be capable of supporting a small fire inside without catching fire itself?
I think there's a big enough room in here for that, yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it makes me think of a Viking longhouse.
That's why I was wondering.
I mean, just tell me how you're gonna go about it. I mean, there's plenty of things, like, in theory, I guess, that you can use, but...
Well, I would take some time and dismantle some of the stones that are used for the other fire pits outside and make a small fire pit in the center of the tent. And then start collecting as much wood to bring into the tent as possible, stored away from the small fire pit, of course.
Okay, that's what basically I was waiting for. So as you start to make this fire pit in the center of the tent, just like, you know, for a nice little heat source, maybe warming some water, little miscellaneous things of that nature, is you're digging it out, making that little indentation. You find a scroll that is tied down in the middle with some twine.
Oh, I'll open it.
You open it and find it to be a map of Zidane. You see the cities, your hometown of Blight, but you do notice 2 odd things. There is a marker up towards the northwest in the Whitethorn Forest, and one just south of Blight and north of Gnissus.
Seeing this, I'll call Cryptilli over and show it to her. I found something interesting while making a fire pit.
What is it, brother?
I'll hand her the map.
I'll take a look at it. Do I notice where exactly that we're familiar with?
I'm sorry, you were cutting out real bad there for me, bud.
Sorry, is that like the place on the marker? Is that like a town we're familiar with?
The markers that are on the map, you have no clue what they are indicating. There's no writing, or it's just like 2 markers that are set upon the map.
Okay. With the location that we travel from Exart is where we are. One of those markers.
No, what I will do is move you all back to the world map.
My initial reasonings were it's either treasure, which seems unlikely because these guys seem really poor, or additional camps.
Yeah, same.
But I don't know why you would bury that information if it's just additional camps. It's not that valuable. I mean, it is valuable information, but not that valuable. So I really don't know what to make of it.
Well, I wouldn't say that they were poor. I mean, they were well fed. They had 5 boars roasting. It's not like boars are easy to find in these parts. They had enough food to keep ogres fed.
So you have one marker here to the north. The marker up here in the north being in the Whitethorn Forest area. You're the campfire, and I mean, on top of the marker for your bandit camp. And then the other marker is here, just north of Gnissus and south of Blight.
These are pretty substantially far away.
Yeah, for sure. We need to go check on those sleds.
Both on the coast as well. I wonder if that means anything.
Mm-hmm. Port spot, possibly, not probably, but possibly.
Could I roll some kind of like history check or to see if those points have any kind of historical significance? Just getting
Yes, you
Adachi
can make
studies
the
matches.
check. You can make a history check. Unfortunately, it does not ring a bell for you.
Okay. Adachi would just speak up and say, I've studied a lot of scrolls with Lady Ohan, and I don't recall anything special about these 2 points.
This definitely seems like something we should investigate at some point.
Yeah, that seems like an adventure that we might be able to go on.
The one to the south concerns me more than the other. It's very close to the roads. Maybe only like
Agreed.
half a day off of the road. If it is another camp, that's worrying.
You said the other was in the Whitethorn Forest.
Yes.
They'd be fools to make a camp there. That place is overrun, rampant with gnolls. Twice the size than the ones you see down in the south.
Could I roll a check? This is probably unrelated, but the half ogres that spoke common, like knowing that that's a point with a lot of monsters around. I don't know if it's like an intelligence check or like an arcana check. Like, you think that's weird, right? That they could speak common, those half ogres we fought.
Maybe you should have talked to him.
Oh, okay. After the fact, I can't roll it. Like, there wouldn't be any like.
I mean, like,
It's-
I'm not really sure what kind of check. I would say it definitely strikes you as odd. It's not something that you've known to be common.
Can he roll to see
Gotcha.
how odd that feels to him?
10 out of 10. He
I
doesn't even
guess
have to
Adachi
roll
would
it. That's just like, he's like, what the fuck? Like, that thing spoke.
Yeah, I guess Adachi would say, my family, I guess if they were able to speak common with half ogres, perhaps maybe these enemies can also speak with gnolls. I mean, if you have monstrous allies, perhaps you're not limited to just one type.
That would be quite the issue.
Now, this could be just my bad memory, but what all do we know about nieces?
I mean, each of you would know that this is the, I mean, not any size city, I guess, or village to brag about. Their main export being ale. And it's the best damn ale that anyone ever has in Zidane. It is a highly sought for product.
Yeah,
We must protect the booze.
we might need to go visit nieces.
Of course, that's appealing to me as well.
Just a thought. I thought gnolls were. I mean, I know that they're not fully like human, but I thought they were humanoid creatures that have their own language and culture and stuff. So, would it be weird for them to speak languages other than gnoll, or is gnoll like animal sounds? Because the whole time I thought they were like speaking a language.
Well, from a DM answer, what I will say is that you have not met any gnolls. I mean, each of you would definitely find these creatures talking or speaking common to be odd. from your past experiences, none of you have. Actually, just Stalin. Give me a D100 roll, please.
Could have been higher.
So, you would know that there are some civilized races of various creatures that in Zidane you do not normally find. In your travels throughout the world of Elista and visiting the other major cities and going about learning the different cultures, you would have seen centaurs, goblins, kobolds, orcs, and all sorts of various races that live in a civilized manner.
Now, would any of them speak Undercommon?
No. That is, as for just like a player, that's more of like a Underdark thing. It's like a totally different area.
Gotcha.
But with that in mind, just Alan, you'd be the only one, I guess, not as like freaked out about it. You would have
Right.
probably found it to be slightly more common.
Hmm. But based on this area, it's odd, definitely.
Yes, based on this area, is very strange.
At this point, Crix would return to prepping for the storm. Be like, one problem at a time.
But with that, as you're getting the fire prepared, Crix, each of you can hear the wind picking up, the snow being combined with a bit of hail as you hear it just batter the animal skins that make up the tent. So far, so good. You guys are in shelter, and there is a heat source as well.
Was there anything, never mind.
Has the storm fully started to set in yet?
Not fully, but it is pretty close.
Is the storm at a point where it wouldn't make sense for Crix to go outside and just check like the stakes that hold the tent in the ground, or any kind of like whatever the support for this tent is, just to see if it's as sturdy as it could be at the moment? Or is the storm too bad for that now?
I would say with how quickly it has like set in, knowing the time frame that you had you could quickly do so, but doing a thorough investigation, you would know that you don't have enough time for such things.
Yeah, no, I just want to basically circle the perimeter and then see if any stakes or anything were loose.
All right, give me an investigation check at disadvantage. Wow.
Well, 313, so
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
works for me.
I mean, you definitely feel that the like bones are like an extra amount of weight, and definitely a bit of a reinforcement in the anchor area as well. It does seem that it's going to be able to withstand a pretty good storm.
All right, with that, Crix will head inside and prepare to, weather it.
Well, with that, I will just ask if there's anything else that you all would like to participate or take care of, then feel free to do so. If not, we can just move on until the storm breaks.
Can I just spend 10 minutes in ritual cast detect magic? just to see if there's anything magical that we haven't found in the tent.
Sure. That seems like
Just
a
at
good
some
idea.
point during the time.
Well, after about 30 minutes goes by, I will say, Adashi, after casting your detect magic, you do not find any additional items or anything of magical significance other than what you all have already found and acquired. But about
I'm
four.
sorry, sorry, go ahead. Not
I,
important.
I was just gonna say about 45 minutes, and the storm will fully set in, bunkering each of you down until the weather breaks. The what was once, I guess, a little bit of a daylight has now ceased to being blocked out by the dark clouds above as the snow and hail falls, growing heavier and heavier as the minute passes.
May goes to Vieric and says, maybe now's a good time to work with our new friends. I think I have a name for mine, and
I agree. I don't quite have a name for mine, but we should.
then I think I take like a bit of the burnt boar and just like work on super basic stuff, like just getting it to sit. Um, and I decide to name her Nyx.
All right. If you would like to change the name in your character sheet for the token, feel free to do so.
Cool.
And Vieric, are you doing the same exact thing, or are you doing anything different with yours?
I'm gonna try to train mine, but I don't have a name for her yet.
All right. You using food like some of the burnt boar as well?
Yes.
All right. Can both of you give me animal handling checks at advantage, please?
All right, here we go again.
Yep. Just don't worry about doing yours from like the advantage or not. Just literally just click yours twice, and we'll be good. For whatever reason, your thing is messed up because even I rolled from it last time and it did the same shit.
Okay.
So while both of your panthers seem to be more enthralled with the burnt boar, knowing the taste from the previous night, each of you have a very successful training session, getting them to follow basic commands, sit, hear, stay, things of that nature, and award them properly with some more meat.
I'm like petting the panther and saying, "Good." And now let's see. Let's see how you like your name. And I try to like go to the other side of the tent where hopefully I'm not in someone's face and try to call her to me with her name Nyx.
She sniffs into the air a bit, and you'll see her head drift over towards Vieric, who still has a couple pieces of boar in his hand.
I go,
Then she'll look back over to you. Back over to Vieric. Back towards you. You find her a bit confused.
I just like hold my hand out with the treat and just say Nyx a few more times and hope.
When she catches a good scent of it and sees it as well, she'll trot over to you.
Hell yeah. I'd give her a treat.
And she'll purr a bit as she rubs up against you. Verica, as stated, your training session will go quite well as well. When you have a name for your animal companion, feel free to share. I know naming a new best friend is hard, so take your time with it.
Will do.
At the moment, we'll just call it Panther. Or Kitty.
There it is.
Would anybody else like to take care of anything? I will say, just so you both are aware as well, when you do training sessions and things of this manner, it does take a good part of the day. So this will be about, we'll say 2 hours. But if you wish to do more, you can. But doing things of this nature just, that does have to take a bit of time.
Okay. Sounds good.
After they're done training, can Adashi try to befriend Lord Viric's panther again after failing miserably the first time?
Sure, if you'd like to give me an animal handling check.
Okay, I got a -1 to this. It's gonna be good.
Well, Kitty does react a little bit better than last time. While the back arcs and the ears pin back down, and and it gives you a bit of a hiss, but this time not attempting to claw up at you or anything else of that manner.
Nice.
Just a
Okay.
bit more of like, I guess, like a startled situation than anything else, not a defensive as it did before.
Adashi's just kind of whispering, like, "Okay, friend, I'm a friend. I work for Lord Viric." And he kind of jumps and then he goes, "Okay, okay." And then he's going to, I guess, for the rest of the day, just kind of ritual cast Unseen Servant and just have his Unseen Servant tending to the fire. So like when the logs run out, you'll just kind of see another log just kind of invisibly float over to the fire, and then something to invisibly kind of prod the fire to keep it going. And I'll maintain that throughout the day.
You're gonna maintain it?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if you got that. Maintain throughout the day.
Alright, can you give me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Yeah. For my voice or for my Unseen Servant?
For sustaining a spell for doing it continuously that much. Yeah, I mean, you definitely feel a bit tired, but nothing more than usual after doing this for the entire day.
Cool, okay.
But if nobody has anything else, we can just fast forward till the weather breaks. Just check one more time.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't have too much I'd want to do right now.
Alright, so the guards through the day will do some miscellaneous tasks, making sure that the fire is tended as well, giving you some assistance, Adashi. Also making sure that the rations are passed out for each of you when it is time to eat. And what you can do, I believe there is a collective loot sheet, because I don't think the rations were passed out. But let me double check. Nope, that means, so Cryptilli, you should have all of them on yours. I will add a, basically like a party loot sheet that you guys can edit and see.
Yeah, I'll add the 15 rations to my page too.
We have it all taken down in the notes in our like running notes from the sessions, Kyle. Or yep.
All right. Well, I added a journal for you guys. It's under handouts. So if you want to do it like that, then everyone can at least pull that up. But if you want to keep doing it the way that you're doing it, that's fine. I'll just make sure I have that up as well. But either way, there being 6 of you and 2 of the guards and needing a ration for the day, can you just minus 8 from there so you have 7 rations basically found from the camp?
I got it.
Cool beans. As it goes into the night, the weather does seem to break a bit, but still being a bit poor. Are you guys going to set up a watch order, or do you feel pretty confident with the situation as is?
I think we should still do a watch, probably.
I agree.
Agreed.
Especially considering no one but me.
Okay, well, with the first watch order, unless you guys would otherwise like to change it up, we have Adashi and Varric.
Sounds good.
All right, so will both of you give me a perception check? All right. All is quiet for your watch. Next up, we have Crix and Creptilli. So if each of you want to make me a perception check. Okay. And then last, we have May and Justalin.
Is this with advantage?
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, all is quiet from your perspective through the night, which will complete a short rest for each of you, moving us to the morning of March 30th. And at the near the end of May and Jocelyn's watch, the weather will begin to break as you hear just the snow falling as it normally does in the mornings of Zidane.
Sorry, can I just say real fast that Adachi looked at some different scrolls and has slightly different tattoos this morning?
Yeah, sure, if you'd like to explain that.
Yeah, I just wanted to switch up my prepared spells.
Also,
So,
would this
so I
be
did it
the
on D&D Beyond, but I wanted to make sure I made it clear I wasn't cheating.
and this would be the time for a hit die, right?
Yeah, so if you have any hit dice that you would like to spend, feel free to do so.
Yep. And I changed a couple of my spells as well. Good call, Adashi.
So, Cryptilli, you doing your normal prayers in the morning, making sure your powers are in favored to you by the gods and gifted to you by the gods, I should say. And Adashi, if you don't have any particular flavor on it, what I will just mention is as Adashi is getting ready, putting on his clothing, getting ready to head out with the weather breaking, each of you will notice these different types of celestial patterns that start to appear. With as many spells as you have, I would assume at least a couple being the same without looking, and just a few being new.
Yeah. That's a good flavor. Thank you.
I get a lot of practice.
I just want to also, after I wake up and do my morning prayers, check on the guards and make sure that they're feeling able to travel.
Yes, they both look pretty healthy. As you check up on them, you will see that the new bandages and that have been placed upon them are not being bled through. They all seem to still be fresh.
Okay, good deal.
I do thank you for tending to my wounds, Lady Cryptilli. If it wasn't for you, I don't think I know that I'd be dead.
And we might have not been in the same boat without your help. And I'll just walk away after saying that and go speak with Crix. Brother, would you mind holding on to one of these? And I'll hand him one of the healing potions or potions of healing. And just let him know to only take it if it's a dire emergency and I'm not able to get to you.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate your concern. I will use it wisely.
And then I'll walk outside and start breaking down one of the tents that the ogres weren't sleeping in.
I walk outside and help.
Which tent do you guys work on first?
Let's go across from the burnt one. Hopefully we get the one that smells the least like smoke.
Yeah, for sure.
So at this point, as you all step outside for the first time after the storm, you'll notice that each of the bandits are buried. The only little bits of remnants that you see from the ogres being still protruding from some of the snow are completely blue, as they are iced over with bits of icicles hanging from what you assume to be one of their hands.
Well, I'm certainly glad we didn't let Adashi leave to go save our other camp.
He might have been fine.
I'm much stronger than I appear, Lady May.
She just looks at him like he's insane and just walks away.
This storm is too intense for you, Adashi.
I'm very quick though, Lord Crix. I believe I could have made it, but it's always better to be safe. I wouldn't want to leave Lord Vieric alone for that long.
Just to make sure, so I'm clear, May and Cryptilli, you both are working on breaking down the tents inside the bandit camp.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Specifically the one to the right of the door, of the gate.
Got it.
And can Adashi go get our old tent stuff? Or go look for the camp?
Yeah, if you'd like.
Yeah, I guess Adashi would say, Lord Vieric, if you excuse me, I will go gather our belongings from the woods to the north. and then he'll, I guess, head that way by himself unless somebody wants to join him.
Hold on, Adachi. I'm not gonna let you go by yourself.
Oh, here, that would be very helpful, Lord Crix.
You could just wait until we break this down. I was just keeping in mind that one of ours might be damaged when we go to retrieve it. So I wanted to make sure we at least had a good, sturdy one.
Yes, I think it's best not to separate. We don't know if we missed some of the bandits or if there's another group on the way to this camp. I think it's best if we stick together.
Agreed.
Whatever you, whatever your wishes, Lady May, and I'll bow. And yeah, he'll wait until you guys are done. I guess, or he'll help once this be go along.
Great. Now we can get out of here even faster. Let's just stop by. Let's take the path we took, hopefully with less diversions in the woods than last time.
Well, while we're breaking down the tent, I think Adachi would, sorry, Adachi would just say, what do you believe we should do with this camp? I mean, it's possible Lord Exarch could use it for his forces, but with his town as strapped as it is, perhaps it's best we destroy it so bandits can't use it again.
It's brutal, but I mean, you're right. That would make the most sense. I can easily light up the tents on our way out.
I can assist with that. I can assist with that.
Start like firebolting the whole thing, like on our way out, like pew 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 pew.
The guards will give you some assistance as well. But with a good portion of you working on breaking down these tents, it will take you significantly less time. What I will ask is for a perception check as you are taking down the one to the left of the gate. Like the one closest to the gate, but on the left side.
I think we had just said we want to take down one.
No.
Oh, I thought you were looking to destroy everything, too.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like pack up and take down and pack up. Okay, no. I'll roll a perception check.
Much better.
That's 4. I need 2 more. Varric and Crix, I believe.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know I was rolling too.
Yeah, I didn't know I was supposed to be rolling. Which makes sense for my roll.
Same.
So Cryptilli and Justalin, both of you catch a very, very faint whiff of charred flesh. The wind kicks up just right for you to catch a whiff coming from the tent to the north of the one that you are currently breaking down.
That was the one that we set on fire.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Gotcha.
We probably should check this one for anything. Do you want to?
Of course, I'm always down for checking things. Don't want to leave anything behind.
Yeah, so I'll wrap my yeah, I know, right? I'll wrap my coat more so heavily around my nose and face and enter the tent to search it.
You don't have to enter the tent. It is practically burnt down, so you're just removing like snow and burned debris.
Okay. Yeah. and I'll just move stuff around and see if there's anything we missed, like any chest or valuables, sparklers.
So as you're making your way, like through the snow, you like eventually start making your way through the debris and things of the charred tent, and you can see that it is, I mean, quite stiff from being out in the cold and just with how brittle it already is. As you keep digging, you feel a bit of a lump. It's like you run your hands over it, you can feel a small indentation. Feels empty inside, and then it quickly runs back up.
Yeah, I'll try to poke into that hollowed area, probably with my short sword.
What do you think it is, sister?
You poke in, and you hear a snap. And as a bit more of the rubble and debris falls, you see it is a burnt flesh and quite frozen, as there's a bit of frostbite over just the remains of the flesh that are attached to this bone, and you find the remnants of a skeleton head.
I'll pick it up on the end of my sword and say, "Huh, seems like we just found the dead," and I'll kick it off my sword with my boot.
Not that it's
Right.
too worrisome to you, but as you pick it up, like noting a bit about it, the eyes frozen shut and the mouth agape, when you're running your fingers through, you will notice that your fingers ran inside of the mouth of this head.
Oh, that's kind of nasty. And I'll just say, well, if there's anything you want, dear brother, you can continue to search, and I'll wipe my hand off on just Alden's shoulder as I walk away.
And I'll say, no, sister. Looks like you've done enough already.
And I'll remember to tell the group that of the contents that I found in the barrels when me and Crix were on watch, just the extra bolts, arrows, and weapons in the different crates. So if they need to refill their inventories to check it out.
The guards will definitely take up this opportunity, filling back up their arrows. Making sure that both of them have full quivers. And also making sure that their armor and everything is good to go as well. We'll say it takes you just over an hour and a half by the time you get done getting everything broken down in the order that you need to, what each of you will be either taking in case if needed, and then also to use as potential fuel to burn down the rest of the encampment. But once all of that is set in place, I believe the plan was to head back to where each of you had left your tents and other belongings.
Yes, so
Before,
go ahead.
sorry, go
You go
ahead.
ahead. You go.
No, I'm
Before
more
we
polite.
leave, can Adachi burn, like maybe in the whatever pelt was on that big tent? Because I'm assuming we can't necessarily burn that. But can I like burn the pattern of, or like the sigil of Lord Exarch onto it? So if anybody comes here, they know that like this was destroyed on Lord Exarch's orders. I just want to leave a sign, like we don't have a flag to plant, but like I want them to know that like don't mess with Exarch, if that makes sense.
I would say that while Exarch, is his own particular person, he still runs under the particular banner of Blight, so it is the same as what each of your
Oh yeah.
brooches
Okay.
are. So you can do the symbol of a stag if you wish. But what I will say with how that is, can you go ahead and give me a performance check to see how it comes out? Well, I mean, for I guess a new particular art style in graffiti form, it's not terrible, but you definitely know where you can make some improvements. Perhaps
Is it
practicing
like
this.
kindergarten level or like middle school art class?
It's very middle of the road.
Okay, so that's a very odd answer, or a hard question for me to answer, because I suck at drawing now, and still, and I did then too. So I would
But it's not
say average.
okay. But it's
I
not
mean,
like my kids come home and they draw pictures and it's like, oh, that's great. What is that? And they're like, oh, it's you. And it's just like a bunch of squiggles. Like it's better than that. Like it's a stag.
sure.
I don't know if you heard any of that. Okay, cool.
I mean, you know what it is.
Is that a horse with antlers?
Something like that, Lord Crix. I just wanted them to know that the Crown of Blight had dealt with this threat to dissuade them from pursuing any other illegal actions.
Or directing them at us?
Even better, Lord Viret can wipe them out more quickly that way. Then he'll look at Lord Viret and kind of do a big cheesy smile.
I roll my eyes and turn away.
Crix is gonna cross his arms and kind of at that, like he didn't get any of the credit.
Would Adachi notice that?
Probably, it would be pretty pronounced.
Adachi will backtrack really quickly and say, "Oh, I mean, of course you too, Lord Crix. I would assume you would be right by his side." Just Lord Viret would just see them from further away and be able to shoot them. All I meant. And then he'll bow like 3 times, and then throw a fourth bow in there, just for a good measure.
It's fine, Adachi. It's a nice horse. We should get going.
Sounds good. And I guess we burn the place down and then leave.
Just Adachi and May just like, or May's just gonna shoot firebolts at like everything once everyone's out.
All right, so I'll say 30 minutes goes by before, like, the fire begins to be, like, fully engulfing from the rest of the tents and the wooden walls as well. So about 2 hours have passed, and then now each of you will leave, go gather your supplies that you left behind.
Yeah.
So, as each of you make your way back to where you had set up your tents and other belongings before stealthily making your way into the bandit camp, you find that there is a fair amount of snow just bundled up and kind of that had fallen upon each of your tents. Some of it seems a bit buried and is definitely going to be a bit of a pain to deal with.
Figured it would take all of us if we were to recover these things.
Yeah, we need that equipment, so we should work together and get that.
By the time we get there, what time is it? If it was like roughly sunrise and then 2
About
hours.
8:30 in the morning, by the time
Okay.
you arrive to this. From
Oh.
a like rough estimate, you will guess that this is going to take quite a bit of time to deal with. None of you have shovels or I guess what you would say is like proper equipment for doing this, and I mean digging into snow with just gloves is definitely going to take some time. Not to mention it's still going to be a tad cold. But
Could I
as
use? Sorry, could I use my green flame blade cantrip to kind of like very delicately try to excavate some of the ice and snow?
Could a glaive be used to shovel snow?
I think that each of you may have quite a bit of different ideas on what may assist in this endeavor. So if you do, please lay it out and I will give you yes or no answers. And if I feel that it's a bit risky, then I will require a check.
I'm gonna ask Adachi if he can use his unseen servant to do this, and then if he can or if he can't, whoever decides to go about doing it, I'm just gonna do guidance on them.
Oh, Adashi would say, "Oh, Lady Cryptilia, of course. I would just need a few minutes to summon him." I can also get green flames to cover my scimitar. And might be able to kind of delicately remove some of the surrounding ice. Surrounding ice.
Yeah, I think however we can get the most of this equipment out the fastest with the least amount of damage would be fine. We do have a tent we could all gather in, though we would be quite snug, and I'd rather not.
I could definitely use my shadow to assist in the labor.
Okay, so far from the ideas that I've heard, as long as Adachi you're like staying a bit away from flammable material, I think that you'll be okay. But it will definitely cut down a bit of time. But since you stated that you're going to be very careful in this aspect, can you give me a sleight of hand check at advantage, please? And the others.
Yeah, I'm just gonna use my
ideas.
shield and dig
Oh,
around what I
there we
can.
go. That's pretty easy, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna have my shadow dig out snow, and if I can use its glaive as kinda like a shovel, I will, even if it's ineffective.
Okay, so what I'll say is I've heard at least 3 good ideas at the minimum at this point, so it will definitely shave off about half the time needed. So instead of taking roughly 2 to 3 hours, this will just take you an hour to an hour and a half.
Yep. So after we finished, I'm gonna knock off my shield, and I'm gonna take a gander at this mysterious jug that I had after Adachi kind of explained it to me. I'm gonna ask it to fill itself with beer.
I'm guessing you're talking about the jug that you had found?
Correct.
Okay. Well, as you have the jug, I do believe it just... Let me look it back up. Yes. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have to attune to it. So, when you give it the command to fill with beer, you feel it just get a bit heavier as you see this liquid begin to just form at the bottom. You see a little bit of a foam top as the ale just continuously fills up to the top before filling its content or container.
And I pour myself a little. Or actually, it's 12 pounds is a big. I'm just gonna drink out of the jug. Screw it.
Well,
And I'll ask my siblings and the guards if they would like a pool.
Thank you, but no.
can you give me a Constitution saving throw there, Creptilli? Something about this tastes a bit odd. You're not quite sure what it is, but when you sip it, like the first one is okay, but then the next sip is very, very bitter in comparison. It's almost as if you're drinking a completely different ale. Feel your stomach
strange.
twist.
Maybe you guys shouldn't drink this. And I'll put the cork back on.
With
I'm glad I have my own.
with Adachi telling you exactly what it was from the previous days, can you go ahead and give me an intelligence check at advantage? And that is for you, Creptilli. So with Adachi telling you what it can do and produce, this odd taste, perhaps it was oil, perhaps it was vinegar, maybe even acid remnants before you had filled it with your ale and took a sip. It dawns on you. Perhaps cleaning it after each use may be a good idea.
That's all right. But I'm just gonna sit with that for the day, and I'll see if I feel any worse or better. If I don't, then I'll take a pull later on during the walk.
Oh, you feel good through the course of the day. What I will say after looking this over, because I don't want to give out too much information about it, this thing definitely produces some interesting things.
Yeah.
So, what I will ask, since each of you will be heading out a little after 9 o'clock in the morning, as far as each of you can tell from the position of the sun, with it being a fairly clear day, you see a few clouds up in the sky, but nothing that brings any worry to each of you. Assume I know which way you're going, but I would like to double check on your direction. Where is your destination?
We're
I'd,
going to Whitethorn Forest, right?
I'd ask the group, should we just return the way that we came, and drop the guards off back at Exart?
He definitely deserves an update.
It would only be right to let him know what we've done.
Well, and I guess we never talked about it, but I mean, we could help them with the ice problem they're having so that they can fish and not starve.
Exactly.
That matter would greatly benefit the people.
Yes, maybe we do that before we go on an adventure.
Always the responsible one. And I'll give her a small smirk and start to walk.
And I kind of mutter in my breath, or maybe we don't go to Whitethorn Forest?
So the consensus is back to Exarchs?
Yeah.
I thought
I
that
think
was the
so.
original plan. So yeah.
Plus, we must deliver these poor guards.
They've seen enough.
Well, that would be much appreciated. But if it's too imposing, we could make our way back, just the two of us. We don't want to be a hindrance.
It's no trouble at all. I'd like to speak with Exarch again, so let us travel together.
All right. So, with all of your acquired items, and as each of you are going about, if you would like to add a extra large tent, and also that treasure to your party loot, feel free. My only question is, who is carrying the 2 chests?
Crix will carry one of the chests, I guess, because he's strong.
Adashi can ritual cast Tensor's floating disc. Sorry guys. And like an invisible circle appears behind him, and he just kind of follows within 20 feet and can carry like 1,000 pounds, I think. So that's an option, but I have to keep casting it every hour.
Sorry, y'all. We were putting the younger one to sleep IRL, so.
Okay. I think 500 pounds is more than enough.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I can do that and just keep casting it. And if you're okay with it, roll another con save. And then if I give out, maybe Crix can help carry him the rest of the way.
I am totally okay with that.
Cool.
Nice. So no problem for you doing that. I mean, more of just I guess a pain in the ass at this point with having to trudge through the snow, keep up, and also concentrate on, you know, making sure that this goes well. But with that, each of you will make it to roughly this location before needing to set up camp and make your way through the night. After spending that little bit of time gathering your supplies, setting up, and making the encampment a nice flammable situation, and then go gathering your original supplies, as you complete those tasks and make your way around the camp, staying decent away distance from the fire, you will see that it's begun to spread, encasing the walls as the flames have grown from the 2 ogre tents, as almost 2 flame pillars seem to be extending from the camp within. And each of you make your way back through the forest and back towards Exarch Stronghold. So if there's nothing else, what I will say, unless needed, we can scamper right along and just get you guys back to the stronghold.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
All right. So, as you all are beginning to make your journey back, setting up camp and making your way through your next couple days of travel, we'll go ahead and take a small break and see what the next couple days on the journey hold for our royal family, and then move on from there. So we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes. I have to give my dog some trifexas, so this might be a nice adventure for me. But we'll be back momentarily. If you haven't, drop a follow if you're enjoying the show tonight, and hope you all stick around. See you shortly. right, and we're back with more of Fight for Blight. So, with each of your intentions to make a beeline directly back to Exarch Stronghold, each of you will continue on your travel uninterrupted and needing just over 2.5 days to make your way back. So, as each of you make your way back into Exarch Stronghold, it will be fairly late on, I believe, late into the night on April 2nd. Yep, April 2nd, you will make your way back into Exarch Stronghold.
Does it look pretty much like we left it?
Indeed, it does. Very in a very rough condition. As you make your way back, the guards will notice you, hailing you, welcome you back into the stronghold. As the other guards thank you and then depart. As you're making your way back through the area, you'll notice that each of the buildings are in relatively the same condition. Only being gone a couple of days, there's not much work that has been completed. You do see a little bit of an extra amount of civilians making their way about, though. And as they all lay their eyes on you, you will hear the same murmurs that you hear when making your way through most of the city of Blight, with people laying their eyes on royalty. You'll see some of the people smile as they wave, bow, and hail you as you make your return. You'll notice that as well as it seems to be a slight bit more cheerful here as well. But with the time of day that it is, I'm assuming you guys are going to just head directly to Exarch Stronghold. And you can see the moon getting pretty near, like, the high point of the night.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Well, as each of you are making your way up to the manor, you can see through one of the windows, the curtains are drawn shut, but you do see a bit of light coming from within as the flames from what each of you know to be the fireplace are burning. You can see some smoke coming out from the chimney, but the door is shut.
Crix will knock at the door.
Given a little knock at the door, and as you hear it kind of like echo from the open area of the room within, you hear, "What is it now? Coming." And as you hear the footsteps make their way over towards the door, you hear a latch, the door unlock, and you see Exarch standing. And from him wearing just some warm robes, and where you can see a bit of a wet spot near the chest area, you see him holding a empty mug. Children, children. Didn't expect you back at this hour. Come in, come in.
Well, hello. It seems you've already got the party started, and I'll take a pull out of my newfound jug.
Oh, this
And
no,
just
no.
Stalin would say, oh, sorry.
This is just tea. And I guess I fell asleep with it in my hand, and when I heard the knock, I got a bit startled.
Sure.
Can I roll a perception check?
Give me an insight check.
What if we could smell it on him?
Yes, he doesn't seem to be drunk. He seems to have just been woken up from a, he's in a stupor from being asleep.
Oh, nice.
Gotcha.
And then we'll just let them know that we found the camp.
You have? Well, well, it didn't go well for them. You all look fine.
Yes, your guards served admirably. In fact, one of them I think is still hurting pretty badly.
No? No? What do you mean?
Oh, I mean, you know, they were wonderful assets to us in battle, but one of them was hurt. So I was hoping you could help them out with that and also maybe dismiss them.
In what way, Lady May? I mean, more than happy to help if their wounds are severe, but dismiss them from each of you?
Yeah, just for the evening. No, just to rest, not permanently. I just meant they've done well.
Well, I must say I was only going to be able to lend them for the time being. And with this bandit situation being taken care of, I will be needing to make plans and heading out with some forces to North Point. We'll be needing as many of my guard here as possible.
North Point. Did you resolve the ice in the bay?
No, the guards have orders and are helping and breaking away things. It's quite thick. It's gonna take a few days, maybe even longer to break through it.
And what is so urgent at North Point that you have to leave?
Well, for Lord Holland, that's been having problems with Cilium the dragon. The last reports we've had come our way from Visceral, Mr. Fletcher, your father's master of spy, informed us that it's been happening nearly every month.
So I guess it was true.
What was true, Lady Cryptilli?
That Cilium has returned.
Yes, and do believe that to be a confirmation, but I don't find that to be odd. It's been happening for a couple of months now. Well, at least that we're aware. Holland says it's been happening longer, but we'll see when we see the damages. I am quite surprised that your father didn't tell each of you about this, but perhaps if he did, he'd be quite worrisome that each of you would make your way there, so If you do bring it up, you didn't hear it from me. But please, tell me more about the camp. All of them have been extinguished, disposed of.
Yes, and May here had a little fire burning session as well.
Well, I mean, I was trying to create a distraction. It didn't really work because Virik is so clumsy that he alerted the guards, but I was trying to burn down a tent on the other side of the camp while we snuck into the camp to try to create a diversion. But it turns out one of the bandits was still in the tent.
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about on our exit.
Nothing is left.
Although the numbers were not what we expected them to be.
Yes, all in all, there were 12 bodies. We left 12 bodies. We killed 12 bandits, 2 of them ogres. But we were expecting 13.
The ogres actually spoke common as well, which is quite odd. Have you heard anything about that? Or know why they might speak common?
Common, you say? You're telling me bloody creatures of well, those primitive cultures that they run in those mountains were speaking common. Our
and
language.
Working with humans.
Well, basically the same, right?
Good old elfin racism.
Just stalling rolls his eyes.
May tries to whisper to Crix and sort of is like, should we show him the scroll?
I don't see any reason not to.
No.
And then I nudge Crix.
But I don't have the scroll. I gave it to Cryptilli.
Right. Sister, please show the Exarch what Crix found.
What'd you find?
And I'll hand Exart the scroll.
I guess a better word for this would just be like a rolled up piece of parchment, more so than a scroll. But nonetheless, you hand it over, and as he takes a look at it, he'll say, well, I mean, this is definitely a Zidane, but what are these? As he gestures and indicates towards the 2 markers, the circles around the areas on the map.
Unfortunately, we were hoping you could shed some light on that.
No, I have no idea. Do you think it could be more campsites? Do you think that there's more? Well, if there's 2 more of the same size, quite a large force than we didn't see coming.
Yes. We were concerned either a force or possibly something they wanted to keep hidden, as this scroll was buried inside of the main cabin there.
But I do find it a bit odd. Why would they mark their own campsites? Wouldn't they know where they are?
One would think.
We're not sure what they are, but we're pretty sure at least the one in the north isn't a campsite.
The only thing that strikes me odd is that there's no indication on this map for their camp. Only a north and south.
There was, I don't know if he was a mage or some sort of sorcerer with the bandits. That was a little troublesome to take down. It's possible that they didn't all know of this document and it was hiding it from the other bandits, not from outsiders necessarily.
Well, from the sound of
We
it, none of you got any answers from them.
yes, they were all killed for
Slain.
slain. Thank you. Slain for their transgressions against the royal family. I do think it's possible that perhaps if these are the same bandits that were attacking caravans on the road, perhaps they were gathering resources for an expedition of these points. Maybe there's some type of valuable there that they were working up to obtain for themselves.
Perhaps. What do you all plan to do?
After we return to Blight, I think we said we might head to Nice's, paying our way to this marker to the south, just to see if we can figure out what it is. Would you agree, family?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. We should
Reasonable.
Yeah, we should let Father know that Lady Faye arrived safely and tell him about this bandit problem.
Well, it is late, so I would be more than happy to extend you all in a room and a place to stay for the evening before you head out. It does seem that the gestures towards the chest, as you all have carried them all this way, had made out a bit well.
Yes, it seemed like they had quite a bit of wealth upon them that they probably have taken from our people.
Well, it's good. At least it can be placed in the right hands.
Yes. And that would be presumably the hands of the people, right? I look around. We certainly don't need it.
Precisely, the hands of the people, May.
I'd look at May and say, we might not need it necessarily, but we might be able to put it to some good. So maybe we can give some of it away. And I'll just go ahead and make my way towards some of the pretty jewels.
Fine. Kuptili, keep the potions. I know you support us all with those. Keep the jewelry, but I mean, I say let's give the coin to the people here in the stronghold.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on with the keep the jewelry.
It's not a lot. It's probably about 100 GP worth.
Fair enough.
And I'll Exarch if he could use it to rebuild the stronghold to make sure that our defenses are strong.
And that the
Course.
people's larders are full. Winter is very, very dangerous here.
Well, if that is what each of you would like to do, I would be happy to accept such an offering. But while we would be able to supply everyone with food and repairs for and bit more defenses, and perhaps be able to employ some more guards in the area as well. This gold will need to go to your father and into the coffers in order for him to supply us with what we need. So if that is your plan, I would be very grateful if each of you would bring this back to Blight with you before continuing on.
Out of character, he wants us to carry it to Blight so that they can give it back to him.
They have to exchange the money for supplies that will be sent back there.
I know, I get it. It's just frustrating how bureaucracy works.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is what happens in kingdoms.
Yup.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Father
We
will
might
know
need to
what's
borrow your guards to carry that, so we don't have to.
I don't want his people around anymore.
Ah,
Steal all
true.
my XP.
Fair enough.
Steal all my XP.
Adashi
extra
says,
rations.
Adashi speaks up and says, Lady Cryptilli, I believe I can still manage to carry it like I did before. And he looks pretty beat because he carried them for like 2.5 days.
True. I'd like to see you try, so I won't stop you.
Okay. Well, what if we distribute the weight amongst ourselves? Is that reasonable? Out of character, that was what, 500 pounds? Is that what y'all said?
That was how much the floating disc could support. It's like for every 50 coins is normally a pound. So with the amount of coins that you guys have, I would say, let's just say it's roughly 50 pounds at most with the gems and stuff included. And then the chest being like another 15 to 20 pounds. So roughly 75 pounds in total.
Yeah, so why don't we take the coin and the gems out of the chest and leave the chest here with you, Exarch? How does that sound?
It's fine with me. Sure, someone would be happy to use this for storage or firewood.
If we can't use a cart or some type of mount to carry these things.
I was just gonna ask Exart if he had any jewels that we could exchange these for that were worth the same value, and we could just carry the jewels instead of the coin. If not, then that's fine.
Sorry, Lady Cryptilli, I don't. All of my extra funds have been going into making sure the mouths that can't afford to eat are at least eating a little bit.
We'll be sure they come back to you.
Yep, and we'll and I'll ask him for just a room to sleep in. I am tired from our travels.
Before you go, do you have any messages or letters for our father or others in Blight?
Well, just tell my brother and I thank him not only gracing me with each of your presents, but also solving our bandit issue as well in one fell swoop. I couldn't be more grateful for a king, for a leader as your father is to each of his people. Ouch. Yes, from the stories that you've heard from Exarch, he looks to your father as a brother, and as stated before, as each of you as nearly his own children.
Thank you, Uncle.
Lord Exarch, I hope
See his
that we
eyes
can
get
also
watery.
solve your. Lord Exarch, I hope we can also solve your ice problem as well in the morning.
I wouldn't begin to even know where to thank you if you were able to do such things. But I'm sure that the smiling faces of the people here in the stronghold will be quite sufficient.
Cool.
Well,
As long as he thinks it's okay, we'll have to take his word for it, brother. But I was thinking the same.
well, I won't keep each of you up. I will sleep down here for the night. Each of you take upstairs. Make yourselves at home. If there's anything that you'd like, please feel free to ask or grab it for yourselves. Food is in the pantry. As he gestures over towards the pantry, and then ale, extra wine, things of that manner. Of course, in the wine rack, and then the ale is in the other room. As he gestures over towards a closed door, which you all would know to just be a closet area and storage.
Yeah, and I'll go in, pour wine or beer out of the container, shaking it, sloshing it, and then pouring it out. And I'll ask just to refill my water skins and all of that.
No, but of course.
And I'll grab a bottle of wine and go to sleep.
Crix is just gonna head off to bed.
Adashi is going to use his message cantrip to send a message to just Stalin. But I imagine it's kind of like a temporary like glyph tattoo appears on just Stalin's arm of the message. Like I think the spell says you hear it, but I'm gonna flavor text it as him reading it like off his body, and then it kind of disappears after a little bit. But I'm gonna type it in chat if that's cool, so it's easier for me to talk.
Sounds good.
Well, as most of you grab just like a few bites to eat, and then some food and some things to drink. I was gonna say, what do you mean yesterday?
Yeah, my bad.
He's a time traveler.
Mind blown.
So Adashi's somewhat close by, or do I have to go back to him to speak to give him my answer?
I believe so. I mean, you're just gonna have to go to him.
Well, I think you get to respond back. So if you're cool with it, like, could it just be like a tattoo? Like, if you think I think it's normally all mental. So if you can respond mentally back to me, or it's actually, you know what? Let me just because that's way easier.
Yeah, because I'm
I can't
wondering
let-
how confused I would be to see it.
Yeah, sorry. It's like normally it's a whisper only you can hear, and then you can whisper back, and it's a whisper
Yeah,
only
yeah.
I can hear. But if it's okay. I'd like to flavor it as a tattoo on your body, like on your arm. And then like if you think a message back, it'll show up on my body.
Like one of those scrolling messages.
Yeah,
on
so
the
like you feel
billboard.
like a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
of like a burning sensation on your forearm there, just Stalin. And as it feels like you just dropped a like nice hot piece of meat on your arm, you look down and you see it to be clean, but these words begin to sketch into your arm. It burns a little bit, but it's not too uncomfortable. It's just noticeable. And then you see the message appear on your forearm.
So just Stalin looks down at his arm in confusion at first and says, "Ah, What the hell? This must be Adashi's doing.
Yeah, with like a brief pause after like your initial message, you're wondering who it is, and then it appears. This is Adachi, by the way.
Yes, brother. We can go see Lady Faye to see what she has to say. Why not?
Okay,
And he
cool.
chuckles to himself when he sees Wingman, because he's heard of such terms in other cultures. New
And then out
slang.
of character. Sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
No, it's fine.
I was just gonna say, out of character. I'm hoping that the temple Lady Faye's at, I could get the materials to recast Find Familiar, because I need like a brass brazier and some incense. So I'm thinking the temple is probably the best place to go to do that.
Okay, and you want to do that tonight, or you want to do that tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I'm thinking like first thing in the
Okay.
morning, and then Adachi will meet back up with May and try to deal with the ice issue. If that's cool with the rest of the group.
How long will the ice issue take to overcome, though? That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Well, if each of you would like to discuss this and theorize about it, you can. But at this
say-
moment, I will answer you with this. You are quite unsure.
We can check it out in the morning.
I mean, I plan on casting. Hold on. 3 burning hands on it. Let's see if it goes away.
Just for a reminder, you know you don't get your spells back, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't really been using them. I've just been firebolting everything, which doesn't say I'm playing very well, but I feel like if this is something I can do, then I'll do it, you know? Hopefully I don't need all 3, and I don't have to use all 3 spell slots, but we'll see how it goes. I was just gonna definitely make sure it was prepared for tomorrow.
Well, and when I say you don't get them back, like it's for like until a long rest, of course, or if you use oh my god, I can't believe
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called, but your skill that you got.
Yeah, I get like arcane recovery. I get like
That's
1 back, short rest. So like 3 days, I could get them back, you know, or at least I get 1 back tomorrow. So I'm okay with that if I can actually help and do something.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we can move on to what I believe to be April 3rd. As each of you awake, have a nice night of sleep in some comfy beds and in some nice warm shelter. And with the weather still fairly nice outside, you can see where the snow is falling at a bit of a horizontal manner as each of you look out the windows, but not in the manner of a blizzard, but just more of a higher and windier day. But you all feel nice and refreshed. So if you do need to top off with any extra hit dice, you've had plenty of time to do so. So if need be, go ahead and roll them still. I believe at this point, like 4 short rests would have been completed. But if not, each of you wake up. It is 6:30. You see the windy day outside. While it's still nice and warm inside with the shelter and the comfy beds, you do smell what each of you would recognize as a porridge that is being made downstairs. But with what each of you have planned, Adashi, you will have your new spells prepared. Cryptilli, if you need anything changed out for what each of you have planned, feel free. And as each of you, after that point, make your way downstairs and gather up, Exarch will be standing over a cauldron, giving it a bit of a stir, as each of you are met with a cinnamon and sugar smell and a bit of boiled oats. And from the gatherings and what each of you assume with this familiar smell to be oatmeal. Well, morning to each of you. I'm surprised to see each of you up this early. Not taking a break, are you?
Never that, Uncle. Do you have enough of that to share?
But of course, as he gestures over towards the table, and you see 7 bowls set with spoons laying next to each of the bowls. I'm not gonna have guests and not feed you. Plus, after what you all have done, this is the least I can do.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I'll begin to eat my oatmeal.
Yes, it smells delicious.
Well, it's a bit windy outside, so nice warm breakfast will keep you a bit warmer through the day. Hopefully, this will suffice if each of you still plan on heading out onto the ice to give a bit of leeway to the people.
Good. And I'll ask, while we're eating, I'll ask May and Adashi what their plan is when they want to go check out the water line or the frozen lake.
Melee finishes up her bowl of oatmeal. I mean, I'm ready when you are. Out of character, I think Adashi just stepped away for a second.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, I'll say well, yes, I think we should check it out and devise a plan to deal with it if we can in a short time, as we should give it a good try, but we also have to make it back.
Yeah. Exarch, are your guards already down there as well?
Yeah, I've got about 20 that are supposed to make their way there this morning.
Let's join them, sister.
I'm sure they can update us on the situation. They know best.
All right. Well, with the plan of what Adashi wanted to do first thing in the morning, Adashi, if you have anything in particular that you would like to roleplay, feel free to do so. But you do indeed find a brass brazier and incense at the, not so much of a temple as it is like a large shrine. There's some places to be able to like have a gathering, but it is all outside.
I'm not sure he made it back just yet.
Okay, well, and we will jump back to him in a moment, but then what we will say is if the rest of you are heading straight towards the waterfront in order to lend a hand, then we will just move over to that. So just double checking all 5 of you are going there.
Well, I'm supposed to be with Adashi, so I'll catch up later.
I was
Gotcha.
gonna go to the ice.
Vieric?
My bad, I stepped away. I just got back, but I heard my name.
Are you going to the ice, or are you going to go with the Dashi to the temple area?
I'm gonna go to the ice.
Okay. So with the 4 of you heading towards the coastline where the ice has been building up, you will see that there are a couple of small ships that are encased in ice, a few what each of you would classify as just it's like just fishing boats. Nothing that can tend or be safe into the open ocean by any means, needing to stay at a good distance within the shoreline. Roughly about 10 to 15 foot in length with a single mast and sail. But you do see that there are 5 of them encased in the ice. There are a small group of dwarves and humans off to one side, and the guards that you notice off to another, as you hear a bit of indistinct chatter as both of the parties seem to be yelling over one another. As you make your way up, you hear one of the dwarves pipe up, "Oh, bloody hell, do you think that any of you fucking elves will tell us how to dig any better? Listen. This is what dwarves do, okay? We do this all the time." And then the humans just kind of like cheering and backing them up a bit. And the elves, the guards, just saying, "Listen, we're only here to help, all right? We just need to know exactly what to do. We needed to know who was in charge. I'm sorry that you think that us asking you was an insult." "Well, who the hell do you think's been leading this bloody endeavor the entire time? Exarch's given no help until recently when he's gotten assistance with those bandits." And as you see him kind of put up a bit of quotes with his stubby little fingers. "Oh, thank goodness. Look, we have more help from the royal family." "Oh, fucking great. The royal family. What are each of you going to do? Tell us what to do."
So I'm not even gonna respond to him, but I am gonna start looking around, which is what that investigation role was for. I just wanted to see if I could tell how far about the ice stretched until it hit open water, and the thickness of the ice.
Well, as you're making an approach, I mean, you get a pretty good investigation check, but I mean, from an investigation, you're gonna need to just like walk past this conversation, completely ignoring them as you stated,
Yeah.
and then just go check out the ice. And as you make your way out, you see at first glance it extends nearly a quarter of a mile, but when you go look over at the ships, you see that it is a foot to 3 foot in its most of its thickness.
Perfect. I'll go back to my siblings Mavar and Crix, and I'll just ask them if any one of them speak Dwarvish. Maybe we could flatter him enough to shut up.
I don't think I speak Dwarvish.
I speak Dwarvish.
Oi, I'd fucking heard that, you lady.
Ah, yes, hello. We come in peace, just, trying to see if you needed some extra hands. Really looks like you got this under control.
You don't even have any tools.
No tools, but we have some other techniques, shall we say, that we were thinking we might be able to use.
Oh, and just what in the hell can you do?
Well, a couple of us can make fire spontaneously. Shoot fire from where we stand.
Okay, I was going to say I can make fire too.
Oh, okay. Well, let me talk to my siblings, see what else we have.
By the way, good dwarvish.
Oh, thank you. To be honest, this is my first time practicing with someone outside of the castle. So I'm a little self-conscious, and I like go back to the siblings and
Yeah, it does sound a bit weak.
rude.
So we understand him but can't talk to him, yeah?
If since they're communicating in dwarvish, unless you understand the dwarvish language, you have no idea what was just said.
Yeah, but you could
But
have.
before that, he was speaking common, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So y'all just couldn't understand what I was saying. But I turn back to the fam and I just say, well, it turns out they can make fire as well. So I don't know what help we can be.
Maybe we can go about this in a different manner.
Hold on one second. May I just meant it as like he meant it, I guess, more of as I'm glad that you explained it that way, like spontaneously, because we can make fire. It's not that hard.
Yeah, he was talking about like a.
Like a campfire. Yeah.
Oh, so he didn't get what I was saying. I guess magically is what I was.
Yeah. He was saying like oh, okay. At first I thought you meant this. That's what he was.
He was
saying.
ready to mock you.
Got it. So maybe we could be helpful.
Well, if
So-
nothing else, we're hands.
So I look at May and I say, if he disrespects us again, he catches an arrow to the face.
Virik, I don't need you to defend me or defend us, especially not in a simple conversation.
And I'll
Can you
just
give
say
me a
I'm not
perception
opposed
check,
to
Varric?
that. I said I'd whisper to Virik and say that I'm not opposed to that and give him a little smirk.
When you say that, you just like hear, and as you hear like oh, and you look over and you see the dwarf just place like a hand over his mouth with the red beard hanging down. It's quite a bit tangled. You can see bits of snow and frost that are in it. It seems that he's been at least fairly hard at work pretty early.
I look at May and I say, you tell him he respects royalty or he dies.
I will not, and you will not, and just relax.
I will say I can hear you.
Right.
Understood.
So you understand.
Forgive my brother. I'm sure you didn't mean any disrespect, but anyways, and I start shooting some firebolts like into the ice, definitely away from the ships to make sure that like at no point am I risking like lighting the ships on fire.
I was going to suggest, since when I walked out past the ships, it seemed like the water wasn't too far from the nearest end. If we started to melt and hack, walking back towards the ship, we should be able to make faster way.
Great idea, sister.
So you're gonna make your way out onto the ice and just begin to use some fire bolts.
Yes, we're gonna also ask the people that are helping, like the guards and whatnot, to kind of chisel away, let's say 12 feet from where we're shooting fire bolts at a time. That way they don't happen to fall into the ice.
Like they're moving ahead of us and we're sort of following up behind them.
No, vice versa. They're following up behind.
Yeah, so you're weakening it, and then they're going at like a safe distance and just breaking it away.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that like she wouldn't know that it's guns necessarily, but she's like 100% just doing finger guns, like pew pew.
And I'm gonna ask if I can use Sacred Flame to assist. I'm not 100% sure. It's a cantrip, but I was gonna ask.
Okay. So, I mean, I would say like any sort of damage, like you're gonna be able to like break away the ice. Of course, like fire is going to be a little bit more efficient than like radiant damage, for an example. But I do think that any sort of damage will be at least somewhat beneficial. Would anybody else like to add on to this?
Are any of the people that are chiseling at the ice or breaking at it, are they taking breaks at any point?
Yeah, there's like a good amount, maybe from like a rough count, at least 30, maybe even 40 individuals here.
Okay. Whenever I notice one taking a break, I'll have my shadow take its tools or take their tools from them and continue their work while they're on break. To kind of keep it as continuous as possible. Giving the men, a little bit more time to chill.
Varric, you got anything you'd like to add?
So I don't have a fancy shadow, but I can help chip away at it too.
So you're gonna get in and do some manual labor.
Yeah, I'm a man of the people. What can I say?
Okay.
That's our
So,
leader.
Crix, I won't really need a check from you since you're having your shadow do the work. May, can you give me one attack roll and a damage roll to follow up? Creptilli, can you just give me a damage roll? It's just ice. I don't imagine it doing much.
Nice.
And Varric, can you give me a athletics check, please? All right. Well, I guess that kind of makes sense. Well, you're helping a bit. You're not helping that much, Creptilli, but you are chipping it away at a safe distance. Each of the sacred flames that go off, you just see like a small chunk of ice break away from the surface as the fragments just scatter about the surface.
Yeah, I'll aim them as far towards the edge to do as much help as I can.
Varric, while you're giving a decent hand, you seem to be having a hard time finding your footing while you're making the strikes down, and you will hear a bit of a chuckle coming from the dwarves and the other people from the stronghold, but they are, just more so of like trying to be polite about it, covering their mouths here and there, but will hear some snickers.
As I see his first hit not do that well, can I do guidance so he gets advantage so he can roll again?
We won't get advantage from guidance, but if you would like to, it's essentially going to, like, we'll say, like, give him like the quote unquote buff for about an hour, even though it's only essentially one roll.
Okay.
But with that, May, your fire is doing well, as you're breaking away the ice. And since I saw that Adachi is back, we will go over to the question I had for Adachi, and that just Justin was waiting for as well. Adachi, I was saying that if you had anything that you wanted to speak about with Lady Faye, feel totally free, but you will find a brazier and some incense in order to get your familiar back.
Yes, yeah, I think I need to go talk to her first because I need to buy some like 10 gold worth of incense and charcoal. And I'm assuming she'd probably be the person to get that from. And I also want to make sure that I like get just Stalin and her talking a little bit.
Putting me on the
So
spot.
yeah, I guess yeah. So Adachi, I guess, says, Brother Destalin, let us go find Lady May. I think I need her help with this.
It's Lady Faye, brother. Lady Faye.
Oh, what did I say?
Lady May.
Oh, I think I said Faye, but that smoke still has really got to
It might be the smoke, brother. I just wanted to make sure you got her name right. Of all people, I would
Oh,
want that.
of course, brother.
Not to mention that being your sister's name.
Right.
Oh yeah. Hey May.
What?
As each of you approach, you'll see Lady Faye a bit at work, lighting some of the candles around the altar and the shrine, where you see Olin and a replica of Olin as a high elf and Atia, the Dawn Mother, as a high elf. Both the upper torsos and just single arms, both joining hands in the center of the shrine.
Lady Faye. Um, I hope you remember me, Dashi Grimhearth. And this
But
is
of course.
my brother Destalin.
Yes, it's. I may have not had much interaction with each of you, but it's only been a few days since you've departed. I see that your journey went well.
It did. It was very successful. Thanks to Lord Vieric and the royal family. If I can bother you for a moment, I just needed help with a ritual. I lost my familiar during the expedition and was just hoping you might have some of the supplies. I noticed you have a nice brazier, um, and I'd be happy to make a donation to the temple so that I can procure the necessary materials. Would you be able to assist me?
I could definitely supply the materials. The donation isn't necessary from the royal family. If you wish to make any purchase or things of that manner, I will make sure that the gold is spread out amongst the needy and whoever has a dire need for food.
Yeah, so he will give over 10 gold. Um, and then we'll say, I believe I can do the magic myself. If you'll excuse me, it should just take a few moments. But maybe my brother Justalin here can keep you company while you wait for us to leave you back to your devices. And then Adashi will do a big wink to Justalin and will exit the room to go to the brazier.
So I guess then just Stalin approaches Lady Faye for conversation. Muttering under his breath the entire time. Damn him.
Adashi, before he does the ritual, messages Justalin. So Justalin feels that burning sensation and just sees, thank you. I mean, sorry, you're welcome. Good luck.
Jeez.
So,
So
if
yep.
you have it, if you have something specific to say, but if it's flirting stuff, as I said before, you can do so. But I'm not RPing it.
Exactly, I'm trying to avoid
So
that.
go ahead
Just
and
general
give me
conversation.
a like a persuasion.
Sounds good.
Let's see how well it goes for you.
General conversation it is.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be going too bad, but you kind of just get the feeling that she seems to perhaps being more polite because of your position. Maybe a bit forced. You find it quite a bit odd, especially with your travels through the rest of the world. Perhaps one of the reasons you look to seek adventure elsewhere.
Yeah, I think more than anything, he would like to just update her on their journeys, make sure she's well, and also ask about the people. 'Cause I'm sure as a lady of the temple, she's pretty in tune with what's going on with the people and their well-being.
She'll let you know, well, there has been a bit of a tiff between the people and the guard ever since Exarch had them assist. They feel that their toes are being a bit stepped on. Perhaps understandable, but I think it's just more of their pride than anything.
Of course, from our standpoint, my lady, we've only come to assist as we could.
And I'm sure it'll be appreciated, even though they are prideful and, well, the dwarves may be quite a bit stubborn as well. They will be more than appreciative when they're able to get back to work and do what they've been missing.
Of course. And after we're done here with Adashi's business, we'll return to the bay with our siblings and try to ensure that everything is okay. We'll see what we can do.
All right. And with Adachi, you're going to need an hour, right, for yours?
Oh, why did I think it was 10 minutes?
You left me
Let
for
have
an
it
hour?
right.
Dude.
Surprise date for everyone.
Yeah,
Surprise for everyone.
unfortunately,
That was
after
totally an hour. Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately after it gets bamped from existence, it takes an hour. So
I could
what we'll
probably
s-
get a
Totally
tour
an
of the
hour.
temple or something.
so what we'll say is, like, after like 15 minutes goes by, just all in. What do you say to Adachi at this point?
Oh, he is. I didn't know how focused he was at the time. I'll probably just stick with him out of awkwardness with Lady Faye, so just to watch his process. But I'm like, brother, we should be getting back. How long exactly is this supposed to take?
You know what? I'm not sure, to be honest. I've only done this once before, and it was kind of spontaneous. So, um, maybe another hour and 10 minutes.
Well, Prince Spontaneous, please figure it out.
Adachi, give me an Arcana check, and then I'm gonna go ahead and flip it back to the others. Vieric, you've heard the snicker. Well, each of you are helping out in clearing the ice. Little by little, you're making a good amount of progress.
So I look back and say, would you rather fight?
Oi? What do you mean?
I heard you laugh. Would you rather fight?
And you'll just not even get a response as you just see this gentleman, like, look down and, like, begin to pick back at the ice.
Just as I thought. And then I get back to work.
And I'll get like one of those shit-eating grins on my face.
Well, what I will say is, then, with the rolls that each of you have made, Adachi, you know that this will take roughly about 50 more minutes for you to complete at the point where Jocelyn was asking you, and from the rolls that each of you made with the ice progress, this is, if you keep going at this rate, you'll clear half of the ships in the day. But you also know that you don't have Adachi or just Stalin in this progress. But from this point, the townsfolk and the guards will say, well, this is a hell of a lot more than we've gotten done in quite some time. It's not even been an hour.
Yes. Sometimes it takes a bit of tact instead of brute force. And I'll look at the dwarf with a stern look. And then again, I'll smile at
You see
Virik.
him just taking a swig from a flask. Well, some of us aren't blessed with those kind of stuff. Like, you should count yourself lucky the gods smile like on you like that.
We do. Anyways, what's your name? What are you doing here in Exarch? I mean, in the stronghold.
So we'll know what to put on your tombstone.
Oh,
Be nice, Varric.
Well, everyone just calls me Biz, but my formal name that my parents gave me is Biznald Bronzebeard.
Wow, quite the name. So yes, are you here in the stronghold to trade? Are you leaving? Are you going? Or are you coming? Are these your ships?
Oh, I fucking live here.
Ah, nice.
Yes,
Just like she
yes.
keeps shooting fireballs and just
That
making
ship
small
is mine.
talk. I see. So you sort of lead the fishing around here.
Oi. Sure do. And Adashi and Justalin, at this point, if there's nothing else that you would all like to take care of at the temple, you can make your way over to the shoreline and assist.
can Adashi, before we leave, just ask Stalin, like, well, how did your conversation go?
I'm pretty sure it didn't go as you expected, but I made sure I tried to save face in the process. I could have
Oh, I
used
mean,
one of those wingmen that you wanted to bring up earlier.
Oh, darn. I mean, she knows you're the bastard among us, right? And half human. Like you're easily the most obtainable out of the family.
Well, maybe attainable is not the goal she's seeking, brother.
I mean, you made it clear you were a bastard. I mean, sometimes the common folk can be very cautious of flirting with the noble, such as the Grimhearths.
I'm sure she knows, but I think you're mistaking my goals as well, brother.
My apologies, brother. I just thought I could make up some of our earlier disagreements, but maybe next time. And then we hear a caw, and Lady May, not Lady May, Little May pops out and goes, looks like the spells worked. Should we go to the harbor now?
Yes, please, brother. As for future references, let's let things play out a bit more naturally. In my experience, things work out a bit better that way.
Oh, sure. I just, I wasn't sure when we'd be back. I just thought maybe, one last goodbye. Maybe worth it. Then I guess Adachi will yell back to Lady Faye and say, thank you again. I know Justalin the most appreciated your time today. Thank
And
you.
he nudges Adachi in his ribs with his elbow.
She'll snicker a bit and say, well, it was quite nice to have company. There's not very many people here that pay mind to the shrine.
Thank you, Lady May, and farewell. Or Lady Faye. No, I'm saying Lady May.
Lol.
Internet, it's addictive.
Yeah, Adachi will bow again and say, thank you, Lady Faye. I hope your efforts here are successful. May Zahena bless you, and then we'll leave.
She'll give you a bow and then wave as you all exit. As you both make your way to the shoreline to help in the endeavor with the ice, is about just after this odd conversation with Lord Vieric, and at this point, most of the conversation has ceased. There is just quite a bit of an eerie silence as everyone is working and the firebolts are being shot off by Lady May.
I guess Hadashi would yell out and say, Lord Vieric, I apologize for the delay. I'm here. How can I help?
Grab a pick and start swinging.
Like, and he'll kind of like whisper to him and say, are you sure you want me to use a pick? I mean, then kind of like creates a little flame in his hand. I was like, I think I can help with magic better.
Sounds like a plan, Adachi. You could always aim at that dwarf right there.
There's dwarves here. It's been so long since I spoke Dwarvish. Adachi will like yell hello in Dwarvish, like kind of obnoxiously loud, to the dwarfs and say, "Oh, you were joking, right, Lord Vieric? These dwarfs aren't enemies, are they?" And he would say that in Elvish.
No, Adachi, not enemies, just the one.
Right. Should I hurt him?
No worries, I'll take care of him. He's shaking in his boots
Okay.
already.
Okay, yes, I will give you the honor of the killing, my lord. And does a bow.
This is
and
all in
then
Elvish?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I just want to know how they should act.
And
May
then,
shoots like one firebolt just like at Vieric's feet, not like hitting him, but just being like, dude.
Vieric, can you make me a
Adachi-
dexterity saving throw, please?
Yeah, give me 1 second, my bad.
So as May shoots this firebolt at your feet, like near your feet, the ice begins to crack, and as it does, you'll see it begin to splinter, spreading spider webbing underneath your feet. And it will begin to break away as you feel a foot fall into the ice. You take a couple steps back before stumbling, catching your footing, and making your way away back onto nice solid ice.
And I thought I had the temper, sister, and I'll give you a nice little smirk. Well done.
I
mean-
snicker and in Elvish, I say, I'll kill him if you try that again.
She just like shoots firebolts even faster, just like, let's get out of here.
And with a bit of a heated exchange between the family, as you all continue this conversation in Elvish, each of you will notice that there is quite a confused look amongst most of the individuals. The guards are just more attentive, looking quite nervously as that last firebolt went, or one of the last firebolts went near Varric. And with that is where we will end tonight's session.
I just look at the guards and I say, you know, siblings, am I right?
Adachi would yell out and say, Lady May, your magic has improved greatly, but you must work on your accuracy. Completely
They think
guessing
we're
that it was
nuts.
intentional.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, the last update that you guys had, you were at 1457 for your experience.
Yep.
I believe that is true.
1457.
Yep.
So each of you will bring in 175 experience for tonight's session. Which will put everyone at a total of 1,632.
Cool.
Boo.
And congratulations on, I guess, your first quest being completed, taking care of the bandit camp and then turning that in. And also, I just want to note that when we get back next week, if everyone's able to make it, then we will pick it up near the like midday on April 3rd.
Cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's session. And other than that, if none of you have anything that you'd like to shout out before we get out of here, then see you all next week.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.
Take it easy as always.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Again, thank you all for watching. If you're not already, please do follow the channel for some more D&D content. If you liked the ambiance music, the logo, or the map, you can find all of the links that I used down from below. 2-minute tabletops for the map, Sword Coast Soundscapes for the ambiance music, and Lady Loxer for the logo. If you would like to join the Discord channel, we have a picture down below. I will actually add a bit of a description to it, but it is Naruto picture that you find down in the bio. YouTube as well, Twitter, all that good stuff. Please do join the other social networks and help grow the channel. Game tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, if you wish to see some more of the world of Elista. But if not, then next week, Fight for Blight, 8 p.m. on Monday. See y'all then.